good thing no cheap, and cheap thing no good.
Hi, I'm Zara and welcome to Reset, the Mindset Makeover Show. Here, we help you build the tools you need to live a fulfilled life, all on your own terms. Over the last 2 years, I've had some crazy experiences while trying to build my business. And I'm guessing some of you might be able to relate, but there have been so many times where something my family, my Trinidadian family specifically, said while growing up, and to this day, that still rings true. And that's good thing no cheap, cheap thing no good. Now, this doesn't apply to absolutely everything, but there are just some things where this always applies, like aluminum foil. But today we're not talking about aluminum foil. We're talking about the things where, in my opinion, and I've experienced that it matters when it comes to building a business or just creating the life that you want. So today I will share with you a few of the things that I found it's better to spend and invest on than to go the cheap route. Let's get into it. First up is paying people to do things that you can't do well. Now, this might seem like, well, what? Of course, that's what I do. But a lot of times you might try to learn the new skills, and sometimes that makes sense, but sometimes it doesn't. So what you'll really want to do is understand what it takes for someone to be good at that. Do you have the time? Do you have the resources to develop that skill and still accomplish the other thing you want to do? If the answer is yes, great. But if it's no, then start seeking out people who have taken the time to develop those skills. What you'll want to do is make sure you're hiring someone who delivers the best value. For me, this value is the balance between skill, time, and cost. Are you just starting out and you're looking for affordable options for banking? I know I've talked about this a few times, but I just wanted to jump in here and share a few options with you. So this is actually for banking and accounting. My top options for banking and accounting would be NOVO Bank, Brex, and Wave. They all offer no-fee options for you to manage your finances early on. As your business grows, your needs might change, but if you need a good place to start out, that's where I'd recommend. If you want to learn more about them, check out the description box below. Another thing that I've learned the hard way that is super, super valuable, and I'll preface this by saying I know that one of these is super important. I thought there was more leeway with the other, and that's really packaging and branding. For one, particularly if you have a business where there is an actual package, these are super, super important. They're what's out there for your brand when you can't be there speaking for it. So the higher quality way that you can represent yourself, then the more people will be enticed to try and get to know you and get to know your brand. I'll give you guys, for instance, imagine something that tastes amazing, but it's in a crumpled up paper bag versus something that's just mediocre, but it's beautifully packaged. Which one are you going to go to first? And this is something I really learned with my business. When I updated my packaging, I saw my sales quadruple just from updating the packaging. I didn't change the product at all. And this is another reason why I continue to think about how can I grow and evolve and put my best foot forward to entice people, and so that the packaging and the branding is not something that's keeping them from wanting to learn more and to get to know my brand and hopefully become customers. I know that I've told you guys so many ways to save when it comes to finances, and those still hold true. But to me, those are very separate from getting financial help. I think it is super, super important, particularly if you don't have a skill set in accounting or finance, to hire someone who does. You can keep track of your transactions, but you might not know whether or not you can deduct one of those transactions. And that's where a financial professional comes in. And that's where I think there's value in hiring an accountant or a CPA to help you, whether it's for business or for personal purposes. Next up is your website. Whether this is your personal website or your business and brand, this is your business card. When you tell someone you have a business, it's the first place they go. They go there and they go to your social media, and it's almost a sort of validation to validate your business and make sure it's legitimate. So you always want to have an easy to use, functional, informational website. And this is why this year it's something I'm investing more time and resources into, in improving my website so they're more intuitive, they give higher quality information, and they're really engaging and add value for the people who I want to join our community and purchase my products and learn more about me and the work that I do. Next up is investing in yourself. Now you might not be like, well, what does this have to do with not being cheap? But here's the thing, you can invest in yourself in many ways. Whether it's taking a course, going to therapy, taking some time off, or just investing literally financially in yourself. And the reason I put this on this list is because I realized something as I first was starting to get the confidence to build my own business, was that in the past I used to be more comfortable buying an expensive shoe than I was investing that same amount of money in my business, because I was scared of the risk that it would be. Like, why? It doesn't even make sense. Are those shoes going to help me make more money? Or are those shoes going to help me create the life that I want for myself? I don't necessarily think so. But investing in myself, investing in my business is at least progress towards that. So that's something I had to really take a hard look at myself, not just in how I spend my money, but in the last point that I make, how I spend my time. Time is probably the most valuable thing to you in general. I actually feel like a lot of people don't realize the value of time, and time is not cheap, because anytime you're doing one thing, you're making the choice to do that over another thing. And for me, this was something I really had to think about when I was deciding where I wanted to spend, my money and thus my time. The amount of time you spend doing things that aren't your strength, you don't intend to build as a strength, are times that you could spend on things that are your strength, that matter, that help to move you forward towards creating whatever vision of fulfillment exists for you. So if you take nothing else out of this, is that your time is valuable. So really, really, really be considerate of how you use that time. One other thing I always want to remind people is that nothing is ever truly, truly free. Be extremely, extremely mindful of anyone who's offering you something for free. If it is their time, if it is their time, if it is their resources, if it is their money, if it is anything, because in most cases it is not free. They are expecting something out of they might be benefiting in some way, particularly the ones who want to publicize what they may be doing for you. And this is something I just really, really encourage people to keep in mind. So if you are accepting help that does not have a cost to it, sometimes there are great organizations that do this. Like, I work with some who always do this, and it's amazing. Like, Start Small, Think Big is an organization like that. Some of the local New York organizations where I am, like Made in New York or things like that. But then there are other companies who use these as opportunities to say that they're doing good, but they could be doing a lot of other things, like using the information you share with them to build their own business. So whatever you do, always keep these things in mind. Sign NDAs, protect your intellectual property, and just protect your information, and approach things with that mindset that good things are not cheap, and cheap things are not always good. So now that I've shared all of that, and I've encouraged you to trust your intuition, and also invest in yourself, let me know below, have you guys had an experience where you realize that, hey, maybe I should have just spent money on that, or thank goodness I invested in that because I've really seen the payoff? Comment below and let's help each other to just make better choices. Alright, that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you've enjoyed this and found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And also, if you'd like to continue the conversation, you can follow us over on Instagram or Twitter. Otherwise, until next time, I'm Zara, and this is Reset.